Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin behind the scenes, what proof of work is, what problem does it solve, how does it work, and we will talk a little bit about the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining, and at the end Joe will showcase our latest product called Catch the Block. So Bitcoin was created to be a trustless, borderless payment system that anyone can participate in, a peer-to-peer financial system. But how can you prevent someone from double spending a coin or spending it twice? For example, if I send you a digital image, you will get a copy of that image, a copy of those bits. And you can send that image out as many times as you want. But Bitcoin doesn't allow that. Bitcoin prevents duplicating Bitcoins on the network. And what is proof of work? Proof of work is a method of confirming transactions on the blockchain. Probably not many of you know this, but the concept of proof of work was not invented in 2008. The concept was invented by Moni Naur and Cynthia Dwork in 1993. At the time, email spam was a big issue, and anyone could send an email basically for free. So they came out with a solution for the sender to use some computational power before sending an email. This then evolved to proof of work as we know it. And how does proof of work or hashing work? Hashing allows us to zip or compress infinite amount of data, strings, or images into a fixed size output called hash. If just one bit of data, of input data is changed, the output is entirely different. This process can be reversed in theory, but it's practically impossible to reverse it in practice. That's why we call this mathematical function a one-way hash function. We could say that you could get y from an x, but not x back from an y. A good example of one-way hash function is your Bitcoin wallet address. Your Bitcoin wallet address is output of your private key. Your private key acts as an input data, while your Bitcoin wallet address is an output data. Bitcoin is based on one-way hash functions and other cryptographic algorithms for signing the transactions. This image presents a block of transactions that miner is trying to solve. The first input field is data. All the transactions and previous block hash are included in this field. The next input data is a nonce number. Nonce number is used to manipulate the hash output, which is the third option, the third field. The hash output is the solution of block. And the fourth field is the difficulty. Difficulty is used to change or control the probability of finding the blocks. Because if you have more miners joining the network, the probability of finding a block will increase. And because the probability will increase, the average time of finding a block will decrease. Because Bitcoin aims to have block time at around 10 minutes, we need to decrease the probability, and even out the average time of block. We can do that by controlling difficulty. So lower difficulty means the amount of zeros at the start of the hash output. More zeros, higher the difficulty. It will be higher for the miner to guess the correct output with more zeros. In this example, we can see difficulty 1. The hash output must start with 4 zeros. If you try the difficulty 2, the hash output must require with 5 zeros, and it will be harder for the miner to guess the correct output. And this GIF represents how the miner actually hashes. So first, the miner will get all the transactions from the blockchain, from the network. Then he will get the target difficulty, which means how many zeros does the hash output must start with in order for the miner to solve the block. Then the miner will start guessing the nonce number, because remember I mentioned before that if only one bit of data is changed, the output is entirely different. So the miner will start guessing the nonce number until the hash output starts with the correct amount of zeros. Once he finds the solution, he will broadcast the solution to other nodes, and if everything is correct, he will get the block reward. You can try this yourself at nicehash.com Amsterdam hashing. Let's talk a little bit about the environment. You have probably heard that Bitcoin is bad for the environment, that it uses a lot of power, or some other theories. But it is important to note that Bitcoin mining itself doesn't produce any CO2 emissions. The power used might. So it's very important to focus on the power supplier, not the power user. Because otherwise, you could blame your neighbor for washing his clothes in a washing machine instead of doing it by hand. This is all from my side. Joe.
Thank you, Marko. So now you have a little bit of understanding of what's actually happening behind the scenes with mining and the hashing process, how it takes place based on the mathematical algorithms that it's using in order to guess. So we touched a little bit here on the environment, and it's important to note that the power usage is necessary to prove the work was done. That's what the name proof of work is all about. This means that there's proof of the transaction, so there can be no spam and no double spending on the network. And that is why Bitcoin is based on proof of work and is still based on proof of work, because you have this computational use of power that can prove this was happened. So that's a very important fact to note. At first, when Bitcoin was founded, the goal of Bitcoin was the idea of one CPU, one vote. Now what that means is anyone who has a personal computer could participate in the network and help to secure the blockchain by increasing its hash rate, and also that anyone can help to increase the adoption of Bitcoin worldwide. It's very accessible to anyone to participate with a computer. Later, as the computing and mining evolved, we started to use graphics cards or GPUs, and you had GPU mining on the Bitcoin network. Then this evolved further into what's called ASICs. So ASIC miners are application-specific devices which are used solely for mining. These can only be used for mining. Now these are usually quite big machines. They're very expensive, both to own and to operate, and they use quite a lot of power. So that brings us to why NiceHash was born. So NiceHash has been around since 2014 in the mining scene. And what we are a hash power marketplace. And this is quite a unique position in the mining industry. And what that means is that we have a lot of miners who are connecting up to our platform. We are forwarding the hash rate to buyers on the other side, who are then using the hash rate to mine cryptocurrency. They can forward it to their pools, and when they get the reward, they get the payout from the rewards. And they are paying the miner in return for his hash rate. And as you can see from the diagram, this is all happening in real time. So what does this mean? This means that someone who is connecting up as a miner, they have a constant flow of income from the buyers, and their demand is pushed up by the amount of demand on the buying side. And on the other side, the buyer takes home the solo reward because he's the one who's mining as he wishes to. So that's how NiceHash operates. That's what it's all about. We want to make sure that mining remains something accessible to everyone, that it's not just grouped together into big mining farms, that everyone around the world can participate in mining, to get a feel for what's happening, to understand how Bitcoin blockchain works, how the mining process works. So we launched this new idea called easy mining. This is called Catch the Block. So essentially, you're validating blocks of cryptocurrency, validating blocks of Bitcoin. And we call it Catch the Block because essentially what it is, you're getting your mining hash power to catch the block of cryptocurrency. So the way it works is that on our web platform, we have a variety of mining packages. Now what this is all the miners who are connected up to our platform, they are providing us with massive amounts of hash power. And this hash power is being used for mining, and we can group this into packages. That means that you don't need hardware, you don't need software, but you can still participate in the mining process and try to validate blocks for yourself. just like you would if you were solo mining, connecting up directly to the network. So here we have different size of packages based on the duration. So you can have 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, depends on the package size. And during that time, miners are providing this order with hash power. Our system takes care of forwarding all the hash power to your order, and the miners on the other side are getting paid. Then, if during this process you validate a block, as Marko described earlier with the hashing process, when your hash power has been used and it guesses the right number of zeros, then you catch the block rewards, and in the case of Bitcoin, it's 6.25 Bitcoins. You don't divide that up as you would if you're mining directly to a pool. You walk away with the Bitcoins. So as you can see from this animation, when you have your mining package, you can actually watch the process that Marko was describing from the hash rate. So here you can see the top is the target network difficulty. So as Marko explained, this is what adjusts to make sure that the block time of Bitcoin always remains around 10 minutes. So the difficulty will adjust. Underneath this, you can see the progress of your hash power that's being connected to your order as it progresses through the duration of this package. In the yellow, you can see the percentage of how close you were to solving this puzzle. Here we can see it's around 77%. So that means that your hash power has been hashing and has been able to find 77% of those zeros. If it hits 100%, it will cross the target difficulty. And from here, you'll validate the block. So then you have caught the block. That's why we have named this catch the block. So that's how it works. This is how you can visualize the mining as it works. And anyone can participate in this. It's not only for mining farms. You don't need to go out and buy lots of hardware. You can try mining for yourself, see how it works, and try to validate the block as in the process. So that's what NiceHash is all about. We've been here since 2014. NiceHash, the whole purpose of our company is to make cryptocurrency and Bitcoin available and accessible to as many people as possible around the world, and to make the mining process simplified so that people can participate in it, try to get some exposure to Bitcoin, see how it works behind the scenes, and understand what the process of it's all about, and why we have proof of work. So that's all from us today, and we'd like to thank you for joining this short workshop. If you have some questions about our platform or about mining in general, our mining manager, Marko, is an expert on this topic, so you're welcome to come down to our booth and talk more about mining with us. Thank you.